Yo. You're in the mix.
The world's finest, man. DJ.
It's the Big Rich Live on the Mic radio show on YouTube. Every Wednesday and Saturday evening. And we don't miss a beat.
Oh my God. Shut the front door.
What?
We keep it real. We keep it simple. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Big Rich here, Big Rich Live on the Mic radio show here on YouTube. Welcome to the Hump Day Show. Before I even start, I'm just gonna cut my intro a little bit early. I just basically wanted to let everybody know that I'm sick as a dog, so please forgive my little hacking and sniffling and coughing and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to do the best I can to not gross you guys out, but I didn't want to miss a show, so I was like, make it do what it do, be back in the building and make it bigger and better than ever, and try to push through this. So forgive me up front so I know what the deal is. But welcome to Big Rich Live on the Mic radio show. I'm not going to get into I'm not going to say our social media platforms. You should know it by now, but I will post it, down below and try to get it flashing once or twice throughout the show. So we'll see what the deal is. I know I usually do a couple of different stories and stuff like this, and this particular story right here could have been the subject for What's the Real Deal, but I just didn't want to wait till Friday. Okay, it happened the day before yesterday. A lot of fallout from it yesterday, and it's Dr. Ben Carson. This is a very dangerous Negro. Very dangerous, and I will break it down as far as that. I mean, we've been chopping it back and forth all day and half the night last night on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. I've listened to people who I find or who I feel is to know, Yvette Carnell and on her channel, Dr. Boyce Watkins on his channel, D.L. Hughley, and I think it's 2 cents from the GED section of his radio show, and a couple of others. And I disagree with the first two. Yvette Carnell is a little bit different. Yvette Carnell, to me, I don't agree with Yvette on a lot of things. However, Yvette Carnell is brilliant. She's brilliant and she's passionate. I follow her and respect her because she is passionate about her craft. She loves her people, our people. And she is true to her convictions, whether I like them or not, whether I agree with them or not. You got to respect her hustle. And I do. But let's get to the Ben Carson. Ben Carson was giving a speech because he's now the Secretary of HUD, Housing and Urban Development. And he was giving a speech to them, and he had basically correlated slaves, our ancestors, his ancestors, to immigrants. Don't want to misquote him, but I'll generalize his statement, basically saying that slaves were immigrants who came here at the bottom of slave ship for a better life. What? That they came and worked and were paid less or got less. Huh? First of all, slaves that were kidnapped from Africa was never trying to come to the United States. Not in chains, not to be property. You feel me? So what they was trying to do, reading, old captain's logs and stuff like that, and poems and stuff like that people wrote going back and forth of the Middle Passage or during the Middle Passage, they was trying to literally get away, kill as many of the Europeans they could, and turn the ship back around and go back home. Those who could not get a hold of the ship, if you will, jump to their deaths, trying to swim back home, all of this type of stuff right here. Slaves and immigrants are totally different. And I feel that for Ben Carson to say that, he's totally disrespecting our lineage. You follow what I'm saying? It's like I'm trying to lessen the effect. No, slavery was some people say it was the United States' original sin. I would even say it's the second sin, because the first sin, even though America wasn't quote unquote America, it was still the same Europeans that came over here and killed off 90% of the Native Americans. So that might correlate to the original sin. And then slavery is right there. So it's like 1A, 1B, that type of stuff right there, right? This is the same guy who said that the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, was the worst thing since slavery. This is a dangerous Negro. Now, everybody want to sit around, and when I say everybody, I'm just generalizing. But a lot of people want to sit around and say, including Dr. Boyce Watkins, where I disagree with him, is, oh, well, at one point what did he say? He exuded black excellence because he was a brilliant neurosurgeon. Okay, but what is he now? You follow what I'm saying? He's now a dangerous shell of himself. And I'm going to break down why he's dangerous now. My thing is this. If you start out doing bad, okay, and then you get saved, you have an epiphany, whatever it might be, you just decide to grow the hell up, and now you're doing good works. I can see not forgetting your past, but I can see people not bringing it up as much, or if they bring it up, it's only in a footnote or a caveat. Look, this person did go to prison for armed robbery, whoop-de-woo, but now, they got out, they paid it to the society, they're now entrepreneur, they're helping out other incarcerated people, that type of stuff. You could see that it's like a trajectory. But that doesn't go the other way. When you start out, aka as black excellence, and now you are the epitome of a coon. You are ignorant, dangerously ignorant. Okay, so when I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins, what he was basically saying, okay, I don't agree with him. I hate that he's with Trump. I don't like him being Republicans, but he did this, that, and the third in the past. Just like you said, that was the past. Okay. What are we doing now? He is in a position now that he's totally sold out his people. Okay. Yvette Carnell, she wants to bring up, and not only her, but she wants to bring up the fact that President Barack Obama has said it years ago. Well, that's just like saying, I slapped the shit out of you. Don't say nothing to me, because dude slapped the shit out of you 4 years ago or last week. One has nothing to do with the other because they both wrong. Now, when Barack Obama said that in his speech, I didn't have this platform. But I did have Twitter. Not Twitter, I'm sorry. I didn't even have Twitter back then. I had Facebook. So if you look at my timeline, I don't even know if it can go back that far. I think it can. Excuse me. You could see that I excoriated him then. That was idiotic to say that. And then you had people who are apologists who say, oh, well, his dad is an immigrant, and I don't give a damn. Wrong is wrong. Barack Obama, when he said it, that was ignorant and idiotic and stupid to say. And Ben Carson saying it now is idiotic, stupid, period. Period. And anybody who knows me know of the deep problems that I had with Barack Obama in his presidency. Barack Obama, I do agree 100% with Dr. Boyce Watkins when he says that Barack Obama is a good man, a very good man. Michelle Obama is a great woman, just a beautiful, black, strong, intelligent woman that should be a role model to all of our girls to aspire to be. But Barack Obama failed people who look like him. Sorry. That's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. And it's so funny. I don't know if it was the minister Louis Farrakhan, maybe it was Dr. Boyce Watkins, maybe it was both of them because they are friends, that said that if we don't watch it and we don't hold Barack Obama's feet to the fire and all in this, kumbaya, I love my black president type stuff, and we allow him to get out of office without doing anything significant, it's hard for us to then go ask the next president who would be white, part of the dominant society, to do anything more than he did. Because they're going to be like, well, shit, brother was the president for 8 years. He didn't do shit for y'all. Okay? So I am not a Barack Obama apologist whatsoever. Okay? I do feel that for the white presidents, Barack Obama is probably third, fourth. I think I've said this before. Lincoln, you got to put Lincoln, and everybody has flaws. Okay, so miss me with all that. Oh, well, he owned slaves and all that. Everybody had flaws, but I'm just saying as far as the country as a whole. Okay, Lincoln. Then you got to put George Washington, even though he was a slave owner, a bigot, and all this type of stuff right there, and spent the latter years of his life chasing down and returning slaves and stuff like that. But he did get this country through the Revolutionary War, okay? Especially for a country that never had any type of formal military structure or military unit, okay? And then maybe FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he was voted for, he did 4 terms. He didn't finish his last term because he died. And then I think Barack Obama's right there. Now, I know a lot of conservatives will be like, no, Ronald Reagan, whatever you want, okay? But I do feel that Barack Obama, for a white president, is 5th. I mean, it is in the top 5. So, Ben Carson, I've said this before, or when I started this, I said he was a dangerous Negro. See, black folks like him, like Clarence Thomas, like Omarosa Madigo, these type of people, that Larry Elder, these type of Negroes are dangerous because what they are allowed to do by the dominant society is they are put in powerful positions not to affect change for them. You notice none of them are in a position to harm them. But what it is, oh, you's a good Negro, you's a good boy, you's a good girl. You gonna do what massa say, and you gonna say the things that I can't say. Or if you say it and you start it out, then the other white supremacists and stuff, massa, can come and say, oh, well, this person said it. So they're in a position put there by the dominant society, suspected white supremacists, to not do anything that's going to change the status quo, not do anything to help black people, but put in a position to not necessarily destroy black people, even though Clarence Thomas voted against the Voting Rights Act, which annihilated millions of black people ability to vote. But you're in a position where you're representing us, even though we as a community did not put these particular people nowhere. Didn't vote for near one of them. Didn't stump for near one of them. Even though I'm old enough to remember there was quite a few African Americans who stumped for Clarence Thomas. Because remember, Clarence Thomas is only the second African American Supreme Court justice. The first one, Thurgood Marshall. Okay? So when he passed away, boom, now you got Ben Carson. I'm sorry, not Ben Carson. I'm sorry. Clarence Thomas. Now, you have, when you talk to people, this is the biggest point that I have, the biggest issue that I have with Yvette Carnell's position. And I'm downsizing it because I mean she gave an eloquent. Her show was almost 2 hours long. It was an eloquent, well thought out, bunch of nice points argument. Okay, basically it was titled, you excoriate, and I'm paraphrasing. You excoriate Ben Carson, but you didn't say anything when Barack Obama said the same thing. Well, like I said, six in one hand, half dozen in the other. That's irrelevant. Both of them are wrong, and both of them needed to have their ass handed to them. Period. But if I had a difference, this is not the same. This is not the first idiotic thing that Dr. Ben Carson said. Since he's been on the scene, he said one asinine thing after another. And when you sit around and say that the Affordable Care Act, which now have 6.5, 6.9, something like that, million people who could not have insurance, have insurance. When you sit up there and say that is as worse as slavery, you throw the Holocaust, you throw Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, the war on drugs, all of that shit you saying the Affordable Care Act is worse than that. You lose all freaking credibility. I don't care if you was the king of Katwe. If you was a descendant of Mansa Musa, people who don't know who Mansa Musa is, he's actually most economists will agree or have agreed that Mansa Musa, if you roll his gold, his money to today's day, he would be the richest man in history. But don't sit up there and tell me, oh, well, he said this, but Barack Obama said the same thing. Who cares? Because two things is going to happen. One is going to piss me off and turn me off to everything the hell you else have to say. And two, just like it's already started, suspected white supremacists now quote you to dilute the bullshit. Because let me tell you something. As long as I, as a black man, am excoriating black people, talking down to black people, destroying black people, not doing anything for black people, lecturing black people, suspected white supremacists will love me. They not going to let me marry they folks. You know what I'm saying? They won't let me live in their house, but they love me. They'll let me live on the property. You follow what I'm saying? I can live in the shade, the shed. Because what you're doing is you are giving them credence to spew that bullshit. And excuse my French, I'm sorry. This is just very passionate the way I'm talking about this particular subject. Dr. Ben Carson and Negroes like him are dangerous. They're dangerous because it's not based on facts. They say whatever the hell they want to say because there's no repercussions. Again, remember when I said this, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, when I said there is a lack of code amongst black people. I didn't say African Americans, black people. There is a lack of code of accountability. So I can find, Omarosa Madigo can find her place at the right hand of Massa as long as she don't bite the hand that feeds her. Because of her dark skin, because of her ideology, whatever it might be, we as a people have cast her out, if you will. You don't believe me? Google it. Go back to some of her early interviews before The Apprentice, during The Apprentice, right after The Apprentice. How she went on and on and on about her upbringing as a dark-skinned African-American woman. If you don't understand, I mean, think about it, So she found her little niche, and she gonna fight like a bulldog, a pit bull, to protect her seat at the right hand of Massa. But what she has to do is she has to sell her soul to achieve that. Ben Carson, to me, and I've said this before, he's a coon. I'll say it to his face. I stand on that. I stand on that. I don't give a damn what he did academically. All props to you. I'm glad you did it. Hopefully there are other African-American young teens, preteens, young adults that was inspired by him being a neurosurgeon, and now they're going to that path. So I give him props for that, but I'm not going to give him a pass. Ben Carson is possibly the dumbest smart person I've ever seen in my life. And it's based on facts. Those two things alone is crazy. And then went off on this diatribe or how he tried to stab this person. He was brought up in the streets of Detroit, which he probably was. He probably was. But him being a thug, really? Just look at him. Really? I mean, and it's not, you be like, okay, well, he old. Look at his younger pictures when he was in graduate school. When he was a neurosurgeon. He's about this big. Well, who was he thugging? Really? Just ignorant. He's just ignorant. People like him are dangerous and they need to be dealt with. Period. We need to deal with them in the community and stop all this goddamn hero worshiping. Barack Obama did some good things. He did. But he also left us down. Dr. Eric Dyson said something on an interview that I watched yesterday. He said that Barack Obama said, I'm not a black, no. He said, I'm not the president for Black America. Yeah, but you are the president for Black Americans. Okay? So there were things that Barack Obama should have done. Oh, shoot, I'm trying to give him props. But, matter of fact, I think it might have been Dr. Boyce. But he was even showing, he said, look at what Donald Trump did. Donald Trump came in here and did all these executive orders, and who give a damn? Yeah, some of them were probably most of them will become unconstitutional when they're challenged in court. But he didn't give a damn. Barack Obama sat around here and tried to extend the olive branch to people who did not give a damn about him. People who could not stand him because of the color of his skin. People who felt that there should not be a black man, the only black man that should be in the White House in an official capacity should be sweeping the floor, sweeping and mopping the floor. Should be a butler, that type of stuff right there. So he was ignorantly naive on that. But I digress, and we'll talk about that in a later show. Ben Carson is an idiot. Period. And he's dangerous because of the position that he's been put in by the dominant society, and he needs to be dealt with. Period. Point blank. End of story. I'm pretty much done with it. That's the end of the show. Sorry if I went on a little diatribe. It is what it is. You know how I get when I get passionate. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay safe, stay woke. Peace, and I'm out of here.